time for another What Does This Button Do show. This is episode number 83. It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, the Geeks on Tour. And we are old dogs learning new tricks. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
And there's something new every day with smartphones.
There sure are. Hi, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad or all these devices? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, and we think that the best way to learn is on a continual basis, lifelong learning, right? So small pieces, regular basis, that's why we came up with this weekly show. We usually go about 45 minutes, but our website, geeksontour.com, has hundreds of tutorial videos and all of our other content.
Okay. So where are we now, Chris?
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's getting hot out here, but it is beautiful.
And it's a lot hotter in a bunch of other places too. I keep reading about hundreds plus out west.
Yeah, and it hasn't hit 100 here.
It's not even summer yet. On today's show, we have a tip of the day. As usual, today's camera flash off, on, or auto. Our beginner's lesson will be Google Photos FAQs. Our app of the day is not here, but we are doing Twilight. If you have questions, ask them here in the comments. And the show is recorded on YouTube on our Geeks on Tour channel. And you can always find those links at our website, geeksontour.com/weekly show. We do invite you to become a member of Geeks on Tour. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on the link that says Become a Member. And there are a lot of really good things involved with becoming a member. Okay, Chris, show notes. Class notes from our last episode. We did YouTube on mobile, and that was week before last. We took off for Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, and my tip that I want to tell you about today is how our weekly show notes, or class notes, I'd like to call them, or maybe Chris notes, are available in PDF format as well. So last week was episode number 82.
No, week before last.
Week before last, right. We took a week off, didn't we? Okay. And so if you just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on weekly show, then you'd have to scroll down. All the top stuff is about the current show today. And then you get to the point where all the archives are listed. So there's show number 82. And if you are a Geeks on Tour member, you have the 82 with notes. And now I am starting. You'd have to have a username and password here to get to the notes.
And you have one. Strangely enough.
I do, although it didn't work one day this week. Websites are always a challenge.
That was not happy day.
No, but here you can now download the show notes in PDF so that you can print them out. And some people like printouts.
I know I do.
And this is what the show notes look like. So for example, last week on YouTube, that we have a couple of slides that just labeled all the different buttons that are on the screen and what they are. Okay, that's it for my show notes of the week.
Show notes for the week? Okay, what do we have next then? All right, a quick tip. We always want to have a quick tip for everybody. And this week it is keep the flash off on your phone's camera. Why is that, Chris?
Well, actually, I think you have a good explanation of it. First of all, no matter what kind of phone you have, the camera, if it has a flash, now, for example, an iPad doesn't have a flash. So
Most tablets don't, right?
Lots of tablets don't have flashes. So there will be no setting if there is no flash. But you'll have a choice between on, off, and auto. Most people think that auto is the way to go, but we say to have it off. And I like the explanation that you usually give, Jim.
Yeah, well, have you ever been to a stadium or a concert where they're all, big group and the stage is way down there and the people are this big, and you look at your camera and the flash on it is just real small. On this one, it is over here, and it doesn't give off a whole lot of light. It's okay if you're close by, but you see these flashes going off all around the stadium or in the concert hall. What do you think they're lighting up?
The head of the person in front of them.
Pretty much, that's as far as that light goes. So the flash is not going to help your picture at all. These things are computers, remember that. And they are very smart with understanding exposure and speed and lighting and all that stuff. Let them take care of your exposure, especially in low light situations, because you'll get a much better picture and you won't be washed out with the bald head of the guy sitting in front of you. How's that?
So auto, all those people in the stadium had set, right?
Sure.
Because it is dark.
Right. And it wants to flash if there's not enough light.
Yeah.
But it doesn't know what you're really trying to take a shot of. That stage way down below.
So let me show you real quick just how to do that setting.
Okay.
First, I'll do the iPhone. And because the iPhone, it's front and center. If you're in the camera,
push it up a little, honey. There you go.
There's the flash right there. It just looks like a little lightning bolt. If you tap on it, you see that you have the option for auto or on or off. And mine is off. That's what that gold color means. On my Samsung, in the camera, it's a little bit more hidden. And on your Android device, it might be even more so. Settings. So on mine, I know that gear is all the settings, and there is my setting for flash. On this one, when I tap it, it just cycles through the choices. So now it's on, now it's auto, now it's off. And I want to leave it off.
So just tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, tap. Yep. But it's good to know how to do that, because sometimes you do need a fill flash.
Yeah, really.
Although I find that rare these days because the exposure for low light is so good in these things.
Yeah, that's true. And it's getting better. I understand the Samsung S7 has the best low light capability of any of the Android phones.
I've heard that too.
There. So something to check out.
I gotta get me one.
Soon. All right. And YouTube. We do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it too. We want to build these numbers up so that we can talk to more people and like us. Our beginner's lesson today, Google Photos and frequently asked questions. You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do is really frequently asked questions, because we both, me especially, answer a lot of questions about Google Photos. For the most part, we're just getting people started on Google Photos. You know, last week I had somebody that said, "Oh, I wish you had told me this last week."
Before she lost her phone.
Before she went kayaking and dropped her phone in the river and lost all her pictures. Never again will she lose all her pictures, because she has now installed Google Photos on her phone. So I have a list of frequently asked questions, and I'll be discussing and a little bit of demo on each one. And if you have any other questions, please put them in the comments.
And tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we have a special webinar. Actually, it's going to be a free, and you can register. I put the link down there in the comments, so you should be able to find that. If you want to register and join us on it's a public but semi-private, come in and ask your questions there too.
It's just a continuation of the discussion on Google Photos.
And we're going to do it every week after the show, time permitting and all that stuff.
Those of you who have been joining us on Mondays for the last few weeks, we're changing the time a little bit.
And so there's a new registration. So if you'll fill that out, that would be great too.
But it's the same thing. So people will be able to come in the inside and chat with us.
It's a lot of fun. We like it.
Okay. So my first frequently asked question is Google Photos really free and unlimited? The answer is a qualified yes. Yes, if you use the setting called high quality. And what that does is it gives you up to 16 megapixels, which is as high as most any phone goes, but it compresses it a little bit. I've printed 8x10s with this quality and it's just fine. So this is what we recommend. Choose high quality instead of original size, and you do have unlimited storage for free. If you mistakenly upload at the original quality, you can downsize those retroactively by clicking on that button that says recover storage. So that's just in your Google Photos settings, auto backup and sync, and you'll see this button called recover storage, and it'll go back and it will see all pictures that you have uploaded at original size, and it will shrink them, recovering whatever space allotment that they have used up.
Right. Now you say that most phones won't go over 16 megapixels, but there are some special times, especially if you're doing the panoramas, they tend to get larger than 16 megapixels. And another thing, if you're using the Google camera stuff and you're doing these photospheres, they get pretty big too, but they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. So, so those will be shrunk, but they're still going to be
big
great.
Enough.
They're still just great for personal photos. The high quality size setting is just fine. Okay. The next question is, how do I upload my phone's pictures and then delete them to free up space? So here's the two new Google Photos users that we just got started last week. The one who lost her phone in the river, and another wanted to know, just how do I get started? What do I do so that all my future photos are backed up? And the other person said, okay, my phone just keeps saying it's full, it's full, it's full. I can't take any more pictures because it's full. So if I use Google Photos and back up everything, how do I then delete? So this, I want to do a little demo.
Okay.
I'm going to first make sure that my setting is only uploading photos via Wi-Fi so that I can show the upload to you. So I'm just making sure that setting is set right.
Do you want to show that?
Well,
no.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in the settings on Google Photos and backup, and under backup photos, you have your choice of Wi-Fi or cellular. I'm going to say Wi-Fi only, and I'm going to make sure that my Wi-Fi is off. Okay. So this is, oh, and Bonnie, this is for you. And I'm going to take some pictures. So, first of all, if anybody out there doesn't have Google Photos yet, the way you get it is from your App Store on iPhone or the Play Store on Google, and just search for Photos. And there it is. If you don't have it, just install it. It's free. And then you go into the settings that I just showed you to make sure that auto backup is on. All right, now I'm going to take a picture and smile. All right.
Yeah, hang on. Go ahead.
So I just took a picture with the camera of Jim, and I go into Google Photos, and there's where the settings. But here's the photos, and there's the picture I just took of Jim. And notice those curly arrows. Those mean that it's going to back them up, but it can't right now because it's been set to only back up over Wi-Fi, and I have the Wi-Fi off. So I can either turn the Wi-Fi on or go change that setting. It's easiest here to just turn the Wi-Fi on. We're at home, so it's going to automatically connect to that Wi-Fi. And in a second, you'll see those arrows start spinning around. There we go. So you can see what's happening. It's automatically backing up, at least as soon as whatever conditions you've set are matched. Now, as soon as those finish spinning, I can, and you get a little check mark saying, okay, that is now in the cloud. You know, Google Photos is in the cloud. Now, how do I recover the space that they are using up on the phone? Well, first of all, this one is just kind of I don't like that picture at all. If I tap on the trash can, that deletes it from everywhere. That picture is gone. So notice the second picture of Jim is no longer there. It's not on the phone. It's not in the cloud in Google Photos. But this one I want to keep, but I want to take it off of the phone so it's not using up space. I do not then tap the trash can. I tap the three-dot menu and delete device copy. Delete device copy. It says it isn't backed up. Sure looked like it was to me. I don't know.
The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing here.
Delete device copy. There we go. It just hadn't gotten the message. You usually don't do this as quickly.
So it does take a little bit of time to realize that it's there.
Yeah. So I'm still seeing that picture. Where is that picture? It's in the cloud only. It is not taking up space on the phone. So that's how that works. And then there is also a setting, and just so you know, that was the Android. But one thing I love about Google Photos is how it works the same on iPhone as it does on Android. So here I'm on the iPhone and I go into my Google Photos. First of all, is that wonderful? I see the picture that I just took with the Android.
Wow.
Why? Because it's in the cloud and Google Photos is seeing your pictures in the cloud. All right. So if I open that one and tap the three-dot menu, delete from device isn't available. Why is that?
Because it's not on this
device. It's
device.
not on the device, right? I didn't take it with
Trick
this
question.
phone. Yeah. Now, some of these I think I did, but I'm not sure. I think this one that I took yesterday, I took with the iPhone. No, guess not. All right. I'm going to take a picture. I'll just take a picture of myself.
Oh, a selfie.
So that we can tell the difference. There we go. All right. And now I go back to Google Photos. And there's the picture I just took with the iPhone. If I tap on it and tap the three-dot menu, just like I did on the Android, there is delete device original. One extra thing on the iPhone, iPhone is by Apple. Google Photos is by Google. Apple says, I'm not sure about this, Google. Google app. Are you sure you want to allow? Yes, I want Google Photos to be able to delete. But Apple also keeps deleted pictures in a special place. To free up storage, delete this item from the recently deleted album in the iOS Photos app. Little bit of complication there, but it's just the way Apple works. It's like a recycle bin. In your Apple Photos albums, there is this thing called recently deleted. And these pictures that I deleted are still taking up space on the phone. But if I go in here and delete, I could also recover. That's like a recycle bin, right? And they will be deleted in 30 days. It tells you how many days are left on each of those pictures. So that's just an extra little thing with Apple.
Okay.
All right. So that's the question, and that is a very frequently asked question. How do I upload my phone's pictures and then delete them? And we do have tutorial videos of this, prepared videos of this for members on our website too. The second most asked question after how do I delete from my phone is how do I get pictures from my camera or from my computer?
Because these aren't connected to Wi-Fi or to the internet in
Right.
any way.
These
right?
are not
Normally,
internet connected.
Most phones don't have a Wi-Fi connection, and
this is how I took all my photos for 10 of the last 15 years. And those are all on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is you use the auto backup desktop. So I need to show the computer.
Okay.
And I mean, there's a little piece of software that you download to your computer called Desktop Uploader, and I want to show you where to get that. So on your computer, you
can poke right at it.
Yeah. You need to teach me how to use this thing. Yeah. On the computer, if you go to Photos, and on the computer now, you're seeing the pictures that I just took. But if you go to the menu, at the bottom of the menu, there is App Downloads. And Desktop Uploader is what I'm talking about. If you download that to your computer and set the settings to say where your pictures are, it will auto upload all the pictures on your computer to the web, to your Google Photos. And I did that, so now all of my 50,000 pictures are on Google Photos. But
very cool.
After all those 50,000 are uploaded, sometimes I still have to put some pictures from my big camera onto the computer, and I do not think that the uploader is the best way to handle those. So for old photos that are on your computer, use the auto uploader, just let it go. It might take 2-3 days.
Depending on how many pictures you have on the computer.
It might have taken a week for me. Because then I also have external hard drives, and I wanted to get all them uploaded. No problem. But But new photos, I say to use a manual method, and there are 2 manual methods. You can either go to Google Photos and click on the little cloud that lets you navigate your computer and grab pictures to bring up. Or you can be viewing the pictures on your computer just using your file manager or Finder on the Mac, and you can drag and drop them to your Google Photos window. And we do have, we have a couple of videos on that on our website for members.
Cool.
But I want to go to the next question. Who can see my pictures when they're in Google Photos? Answer.
Only you. Until you share.
Until you share, right. If you have some photos that you want to share, then you do that with a link. And anybody who has that link can see them. And
one thing that we hear all the time is, I don't want to put my pictures in the cloud, or I don't want to put my information in the cloud because everybody's going to see it, or Google's going to have all that information and they're keeping that information on me and they're going to sell me advertising.
Well, now some of what you just said is true.
It is true. But
they do not sell your photos out to anybody else. They don't even look at them. It's just their computers that look at them.
Yeah, that's what they want you to do.
So let me show you what I mean. To see my photos, I just go to photos.google.com, right? But I am seeing my photos because I'm logged in. You see my little face in the upper right over here? I'm going to do what's called an incognito browser. So that means I'm opening up a browser window where I am not logged in. This particular browser window doesn't know who I am, doesn't know what's going on. And if I go to photos.google.com here, it says, go to Google Photos. And it says, okay, who are you? You have to prove who you are before you see any photos. Now, once you share, and I will show you how to do that later, then, and I share a lot of pictures. So if I go to our blog and click on our photo albums, I have used links. So here is our photo album for March. I'm a little behind, aren't I? And if you click on that, it has a link. So that means I have made that link public, and anybody with that link can see my photos from March. Or I could have emailed that link. So that's how you share. You share with a link and anybody with that link. Now, if I send a link to you, can you pass it on to somebody else?
Sure.
Yeah, anybody with the link. That's how sharing works with Google Photos. So if you send it to one person, realize that they could send it on to somebody else. So don't share it all if they are really, really private.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is, how do I make an album? I think, let me see. How do I make an album, and can I sort them alphabetically? So making an album, yep, that's easy. You just select the photos, you click a plus, and you add to album, and I'll do that. But sorting an album is not easy. They are in ascending order by date and time, period. You can change the date, and then they'll change the order a little bit, or you can manually move photos. So let's see, I'm going to use the Android again this time and show you just how to make an album. Why do I want to make an album? Because look at all these pictures I took just yesterday. I was at an event where there were some Polynesian dancers, and they were very photogenic. So I just snapped away. Well, if I want to post that and share it with friends, I don't want to bother them with all the dozens of pictures I took. I just want to pick the best ones. So step one is you select. And on a phone, you do that with long press. Long press, and you get a little check mark. Then I can long press on another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Now it's telling me I have 5 pictures selected. If I now tap the plus, I can create new or add to. And I keep an album by each month. So these are the first pictures really I've taken in June. So I need to make a new album for June. But if it was still May, I would want to add them to the May album. I invariably tap on album up here, forgetting. So
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I wish they'd change this screen somehow so that I don't make that mistake as often. But in this case, I do want to create a new album. I tap create album, and then it comes up as untitled, but then I'll use my system, which I say 2016 and June. Is that where we are? And I always start with the year in case someday they allow us to sort alphabetically, which is not possible now. All right, so now when I want to show other people my pictures, I'm going to go to 2116 June rather than to my complete library of pictures. Now for sorting pictures, I want to take you to an older one. So here's my May pictures. And albums are sorted by date with the earliest one first, so in ascending order. I can see the date on this picture by tapping on the eye. And for some reason, I'm not. And then I can see this picture by tapping on the eye. If you change that date, they will change orders, and you can change that date. Or you can also tap on the three-dot menu, Edit Album, and then you can drag photos into new positions. There, you can move them around. But that's it. That's all the options you have for sorting. They're sorted by date. If you change the date, and we have videos on how to do that, then they will move accordingly, or you can drag them around. One of the most requested features of Google Photos is to be able to sort alphabetically or to sort in reverse date order. So it may be coming, but right now it's ascending date order, or you can drag them around.
Okay.
Okay. So one question now of you, you can answer it. The album I just created, the June album, who can see that?
Well, because you have not shared it yet with anyone, only you can see it.
Only
or someone
I can see
who has
it.
your account information.
Right. Now, my intent is to share that, but yeah, I haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's the next frequently asked question. How do I share? So if I have a new photo album, which I just did create, how do I share it? You select the album and you click the share button. And one of them is for Android, the other one is for Apple. We're good.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the Apple this time.
All right.
Because
I don't see it.
It works.
There it is.
Both the Android and the Apple work just the same, but the button looks different. So if I go to albums, and the way you go to albums is with the button down at the bottom here that says albums. And there's the one I just created, June. On the Apple iPhone, the share button is that little square with the up arrow. On the Android, it's the little three-dot slingshot looking thing. You tap that and you say, get link. Notice you can also let others add their photos. So this was an event where a lot of people were at. If I wanted them all to be able to put their photos in here, I could do that, but I didn't. So now that link has been copied to the clipboard. I can paste it anywhere. I can paste it into an email. I can paste it onto my blog. I can paste it into Facebook. And I'm not going to do that at this moment, though. And the last thing I want to show, back to computer. The last thing I want to show is something kind of fancy. Well, wait, I had a couple. Here is a question also we get asked a lot. I'm upset that Google is leaving Picasa and converting to Google Photos. How do I make this change seamlessly? Well, I say you don't actually change from Picasa to Google Photos. You keep Picasa for looking at the pictures on your computer, but you start using Google Photos. Step one is to understand the concept that the goal is to get the photos that you have in all sorts of other places. I'll bet you have photos in more than one computer. I'll bet you have photos on a hard drive or two, you know, an external USB hard drive or two. And you certainly have photos on your phone. The purpose of Google Photos is to take all of your photos and gather them in one place. So you just start doing that while you're still using Picasa on your computer. And if you want to continue to use Picasa, you can. I use Picasa most every day. But instead of my computer being the main place that I collect all my pictures, now I collect all my pictures online in my Google Photos. Anything I want to work with Picasa, I download to the computer, and then I can work with it
Cool.
in Picasa. So that's the way that works. Do I know I am short on time, but tough. There's a couple more things I want to do. Should I switch from Shutterfly, which I love? Now, Shutterfly is not a frequently asked question, but think about any other web-based service where you have photos. If you love it, no, don't switch away from it. Same thing as the computer. I think Google Photos just is uniquely situated to be the permanent home for your entire lifetime of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
That's their intent, and they know what they're doing. If you have other online services, no problem. You can keep using them. I use several, but I know that all of my photos are in Google Photos. So that's my answer there. Do you think the Dropbox is a good place? Yes, same thing. How do I label pics and videos? When you click on that little I, there's a place to write a description. All right, I won't do this advanced tip, but let me just say, I did a video on this, and it's how to make a watermark. Picasa can do it, and I have videos on how to do a watermark with Picasa, and then you can upload to Google Photos. Google Photos does not have the ability to put text on a picture or to do anything like a watermark.
At least not yet.
But if you turn on the option to show your photos in Google Drive, from Google Drive, you can open a photo and use PicMonkey. And PicMonkey gives you the ability to do text and really cool watermarks. And you're just going to have to be a member and come see our video to see it, because I'm out of time. Do we have any questions from?
Yeah. Let me look here real quick. And yeah.
I see. Do you use the Blogger platform? Yes, I do. An unrelated question, but curious minds want to know, can you do a segment on Blogger sometime? Oh, we have a complete series of videos on Blogger on our website. It has not been a topic for this show because it's so much easier on a computer. I do not use the phones for Blogger.
Right, and this program is all about smartphones and tablets.
But that was Blogger I showed just a minute ago, where I showed the link to my photos.
Okay. Question, are the Monday webinars available for watching later? Absolutely. If you register, and we want you to register, it's free, and you can get all of the notifications of the following shows and any of the replays that are out there. And there will be a link that's just not there yet because there's no replay yet.
But it's just for the people who registered for it, right? We don't make that replay public.
No, it's not public.
Because it's just a bunch of conversation.
Right, that's not something.
It's not a prepared
unless you're there, it's
lesson.
Probably of no interest.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, Andy G wants to know if you've proved the phone for waterproof. So the actually even the S5 was supposed to be water resistant up to a certain point, but there were little doors on your ports that you had to keep closed.
That's one of I saw videos that showed an S5, that's what this is, a Samsung S5, taking underwater shots at like 10 feet down, but it had a little cover over this thing and it breaks off pretty easily. I understand that the S7 is waterproof without the little cover. So that's good.
Worth a try.
Yeah.
Okay. More questions. Let's see. The replays will be available. Blogger.
Yeah, I thought there would be some more Google Photos
Really?
questions.
Yeah. Photos taken on iPhone transfers to Google Photos on phone almost immediately, but don't quickly show up on iPad Google Photos. Sometimes takes hours. Is there a way to force the iPad updates?
Usually that is just an internet issue. But yeah, usually that's just an internet issue, because we've had that a lot when we're doing live seminars and I want to show, oh, here it is on the iPad, and I have to wait and wait. So we've worked out our seminars so that we have something to do while we're waiting.
Timing is important, yeah,
because it usually does come up. One quirk about the iPhone side is that at least right now you have to have the app open before it uploads. That's not directly to your question, but I wonder if sometimes it is that they haven't gotten uploaded because you haven't opened the app on the device that took the picture.
Okay. Getting duplicates from iCloud Photos to my Android gallery and then to Dropbox, how do I turn off, especially when I take lots of photos?
Getting duplicates from iCloud Photos to my Android gallery and then to Dropbox. I'm not quite sure where that is. Maybe I'll follow up with you in the comments later, or come to our session tomorrow and we'll go through that. But number one, there are ways to say which folders you want uploaded, but not on an iPhone.
No, there's no folders on an iPhone.
And I just turn off iCloud. You know, iCloud Photo Library and Google Photos do very similar things, and you're doubling up if you use them both. Now, I want to answer Bonnie's question.
Where's Bonnie's?
William English. Yeah.
Ah.
Once you create an album, go ahead.
Once you create an album, it looks like the pictures still stay in the photos icon as well.
Excellent question. And that is something that's part of the concept of Google Photos, is you just dump all your photos in Google Photos. You make albums with the best ones, but that's just groupings. So here's a visual aid here.
All my pictures.
Is instead of saying, oh, I want these pictures to go in this folder, I want these pictures to go in that folder, Google Photos takes away all that decision process. So here is all your photos. Now you take your best ones and you put into albums, but since this is computer, those are not physical pictures. The album is just a grouping. And we do have a couple of videos on this in our membership series. If you can delete the whole album, but the pictures that were in the album are still here. I hope that helps a little bit. It is a different concept.
Yeah, it does take some time to get your head around, I guess.
Yeah, you know, the albums are just a virtual grouping. The pictures are in your library, are in the, you know, the endless bucket, the bottomless bucket.
The bottomless bucket.
That is sorted by date. Is your library. Then the albums are just virtual groupings of pictures. You can delete from the album, it's still in the library. You delete from the library, it's gone. It's not in the album, it's nowhere.
Okay. So let's see. Randy wants to know, where's the session tomorrow? I just put it back in the comments. But Rand, yeah, okay. If you're on the Google Plus page, you should be able to see that link for the registration for the follow-up discussion. And we hope you do. Where am I? Oh, follow, like us on Facebook.
One more.
Oh, there's another question. What does it say? You could make an album to share, and after it's shared, you can delete it and still have the pictures and photos.
Yes, yes. But the person you shared it with needed to have downloaded it themselves. They will no longer be able to, if you delete the album, they will no longer be able to use their shared link to see your pictures.
Okay.
But no, I saw a welcome addition recently to Google Photos is the ability to put comments on pictures. And yes, I agree completely. Google Photos is updating weekly. There are new features and or bug fixes and speed ups on a weekly basis. And on one of our last shows, I gave a link to where you can keep up with that.
Okay.
I try to.
Yeah, Bob wants to know why I do not see the program questions when watching the show on YouTube, but they show when I watch on Google Plus events. Actually, nobody's seeing these questions on the screen right now because the functionality that makes that happen is not working at this time. That's why we're talking about moving to a different platform here for these shows. Okay. Well, Randy, I'll send this link to you directly, I guess. I don't know what page you're looking at.
Well, we will also put it on the Geeks On Tour weekly show page.
Absolutely. It'll be on that page. So if you go to geeksontour.com/weekly show, that link for the follow-up will be there. And I'll do that as soon as we finish this show here. Cool. All right.
Okay.
Real quick.
App of the week.
After you've talked for hours and hours. App of the week, Twilight. See you later. Bye. Twilight is an app for your Android phone. That kind of makes it better for you to sleep. Research suggests that exposure to blue light, which is the whiter light that most of these phones and devices are on, will distort your natural or your circadian rhythm and cause inability to fall asleep. Does anybody else have that problem?
Are you saying that people actually turn on their phones in the middle of the night while they're in bed?
Yeah. Well, anyway, this app will redshift your screen color and help your eyes and your aid to sleep. So it is scientifically understandable. And iOS users, so if you have an iPhone or an iPad, have it built in with the latest versions of the iOS, and it's called Night Shift. And you find that in your settings for display and brightness. But basically, I have this on my phone and I use it, well, it's set to automatically go into this mode at twilight when the sun goes down and come out of it again. And then it's just automatic, and it does make a difference. And it's a lot easier to read at night.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. Wow, it's it. Did you learn something? Chris, Google Photos gives you an unlimited free storage for all your photos if you choose the size called
high quality. As opposed to original.
Right. To upload all photos taken by your phone, what do you do?
Just download the Google Photos app and accept the defaults. The default setting is to upload everything.
All right. And once all photos have been auto-uploaded from your computer's drives to the cloud, we recommend uploading new pictures manually with
both 1 and 3.
Yes.
So the desktop uploader is the only way to get all of them. But then when you're just having a few here and there, I recommend doing the drag and drop or the upload using the button on Google Photos on mine.
Cool. True or false? Once you start using Google Photos, you won't need Picasa for anything anymore.
False. Picasa is still, or something like it, but Picasa is the best, is needed for managing pictures on your computer.
Right.
I still use it all the time to put text on pictures and to make collages.
Okay. Although Google Photos stores all your photos in one unbroken stream of files by date, you can group photos by creating what?
Albums.
Albums are the way to do it. Marie's saying here that she uses Flux on her computers to get rid of the blue light on her laptop and desktop at night. Flux, or F.lux. Flux is the website, and yeah, it's been available on computers for quite some time. and it's probably a good idea.
There was a day that I had my computers in bed with me. That's
Okay. So, Chris, what's the website that lists all of our weekly shows?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly show.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and articles. Newsletters is under there.
And the benefits you get by joining Geeks On Tour.
Access to all the prepared tutorial videos, and those are on the tutorial videos menu. Asking us questions in the member Q&A. We promise to answer there. And then our show notes. Each week we take notes on this weekly show.
Okay. Well, and again, please become a member. That's how we do these shows, and we are member supported, sort of like public radio. Next time, a special follow-up tomorrow at 7 p.m. See the links in the comments or on our webpage, geeksontour.com/weekly show. And our next topic, June 12th, we'll be using the App Store and the Play Store. A lot of questions about that. So watch for the notification for our next show. Let us know you're coming and leave any questions there in the comments. And that's it for us today.
Oh, Vicki says, thanks. You answered some of my unasked questions. Great. Glad to hear
That's
it.
what we want to do, because everyone needs to know, what does this button do?
Just keep pushing those buttons.
All right, guys.
That's how you learn.
And we will see you next week, or hopefully tomorrow.
What does this button do?
Don't touch that button.
I'm